If I could just make a personal request, Father Dave, whenever your next sermon is, if you could somehow work in, please don't be weenie in the butt. I think that would go over very well with the congregation. Thank you. Can you imagine? How great would that be? John's elder, everybody. So, first-timers here at the banquet, welcome first-timers. We have a tradition around here involving the most beloved man and the most well-dressed man you will ever meet, Dr. Roosevelt Rick Wright Jr. III. So he's about to give a speech. Yes, clap for him. That's rude of me. Please clap. So he's about to give a speech, and it's a speech. If you come back next year, you will hear pretty much verbatim. In no way is that a bad thing. Hopefully, you have not eaten all of the Smarties candy on your table. Has anyone eaten all the Smarties candy at the table? You cannot play Rick Wright radio bingo. So you will have a card on your table. When a phrase on that card is said by Dr. Roosevelt Rick Wright Jr., you then put a Smartie covering it, as old people do when they play bingo. Should you complete a vertical line or a horizontal line, immediately interrupt him, which is bad form, and yell bingo as loud as you can. At that point, you will be the winner of the Rick Wright Radio Bingo. Have I explained the rules correctly? And diagonal too. Diagonal does too. If you get diagonal, you win a brand new car. It's Dr. Wright's car. You have to drive him home. So, without further ado, and a man who truly needs no introduction in this room, ladies and gentlemen, your friend and mine, Dr. Roosevelt Rick Wright. Power 620 on your AM dial.
Love you, Steve. First of all, hey, Steve, hold it one second. You got a telephone on your man?
Yes.
Let me use your phone real quick here. Okay. Hey, look, this is Dr. Rick over at the Sheraton. Yeah, look, Steve needs 2 more hours on the rental.
2 more hours?
Yeah, on the tuck he's wearing. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Okay, Steve, you got 2 more hours. Right?
2 more hours.
2 more hours.
Rick Wright, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Wright.
Ladies and gentlemen, WJPZ family members, hey, Ron, RZ from iHeart, nice speech guy. Dynamite, I love the work that radio station with the trailer, man. Like to also recognize Rich Lauber is in the house. Rich Lauber, who is running our clusters here in Syracuse and a bunch of other places too. Also, Greg Hernandez, WJPZ, who gave the toast tonight. All of you have money in your pockets, right? Do you have money in the bank? Hey, Matt Friedman, you got money in that bank in Detroit, right? The person who is most responsible for the security of your money. I heard about all these WJPZ incredible alums. Well, Greg Hernandez he is a power at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. Right, Scotty? That means all of your money in the bank is insured by the federal government. If you got a problem, call WJPZ's Greg Hernandez in Washington, D.C. This is absolutely a wonderful time to be here tonight. Not going to hold you quick. Everybody's looking at those cards. I didn't realize what was happening until about 4 or 5 years that y'all had a contest going while I was giving this speech. Boy, this is incredible. Dean Hub Brown from the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications. And what happened to Joe Lee, the WAER general manager? He just walked out when I was going to give him some recognition. But that's another story. First of all, many years ago, I got a phone call. Now, this isn't on those bingo cards. This isn't on the bingo cards. I am absolutely in tears tonight, emotionally, because you are my WJPZ family. Love you. But years ago, I got a phone call. And I think the phone call came probably about maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And it was a WJPZer who called me. And in fact, when he graduated from Syracuse University, I met his family, and everybody had the same visual facial expression. They were all smiling. And they were the family of Happy Dave Dwyer. I never forget that. But on a real serious note, now this is serious. By the way, we didn't say invocation or grace tonight, so Dave, we apologize to the Catholic Church. But I got this phone call, and it was Dave on the phone. And Dave had already had his big diploma from the famous Syracuse University. And Dave and I talked for at least maybe 2.5 hours on the phone that night. And then after about 2.5 hours of talking about WJPZ, Syracuse University, and our great, incredible history, Dave said, oh yes, Professor Wright, I tell you why I called you. I'm planning to give my life to God. And I'm going to join the Paulus brothers. And could I get a letter of recommendation from you? True story, right, Dave? Can't, you got to tell the truth when you're talking church business, right? And so I wrote this letter to Dave's great address he gave me, and I'm telling you tonight to see Happy Dave Dwyer. And Dave, you're on XM Sirius Satellite Radio, that operation that Dave Gorham runs, along with Neon Dion Summers, a lot of other WJPZers. God bless you. And boy, to see you tonight is just absolutely emotional. And Dave, I'm a member of the Episcopal Church, and I'm a member of the vestry of the St. James Episcopal Church out in Skinny Atlas Lake, on the lake. All righty. And my son, by the way, my son Reuben Wright III told me to tell all of you that, Dad, I would love to be there tonight, but there's a basketball game going on. Now, the kickoff, hey, by the way, anybody, what is the score? Come on, give me a score, somebody.
44, Syracuse 33.
44-33, Duke. I have a Duke story. True story. When I left Syracuse, by the way, let's give a big round of applause to Steve, the official photographer of Syracuse University, who's got all those WJPZ photographs in his archival file. When I left Syracuse in 1972 to go back home, I was finishing up my doctoral coursework in instructional technology at Syracuse. I went back home to North Carolina Central University at Durham. And hey, Rocco, true story, man. All right, this is it, okay? And while at North Carolina Central University, I picked up a radio job at the home of the Durham Morning Herald. WDNC.
What city?
Durham, North Carolina. Home of the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company. And I was Rick Wright at night on WDNC. 620 on the dial, same frequency of WHEN Power 620, and I'm on air right now. And guess what? The nights in which the Duke Blue Devils surfaced from Cameron Indoor Stadium or wherever they were playing, yours truly had to produce Duke basketball. True story, over at WDNC Durham. So 44-33. What, second half? Or what we got here? Second half. Okay, man. We're having a wonderful season this year. Fantastic season. By the way, if anybody's got any connections with the SU athletic program, and all of you are broadcasters and public relations people, why don't we tell the greatest story that is on the table right now? I understand we're supposed to be under an investigation or something with the NCAA. I want you all to send a letter to the NCAA and tell them that Dr. Rick said, we got the greatest story in basketball athletics as a student athletic in Rock Christmas. He only finished college in 3.5 years for his baccalaureate degree. He's getting his master's degree at Syracuse. And the young man is becoming one of the greatest basketball players of the year in Division 1A basketball. So all of the Syracuse University alums, why is the NCAA beating up on a school that's got the greatest academic, athletic story in the country? All righty. Now, boy, y'all said, my God, I got nothing on this bingo sheet. Nothing. Well, let me do this real quick. For me, my godmother, Mrs. Leola Dyson. Hey, RZ from iHeart, and Ron, and Rich, and all of our guys. And in fact, I'm a part of the iHeart Media family also. But I had a great godmother by the name of Mrs. Leola Dyson, who was at WRAP, Norfolk, Virginia. And she was there for 40 years. She did a daily show called Around the Town with Mrs. Leola Dyson. And I used to hang around with her. She taught me all the tricks of the trade with regards to marketing and sales and radio. She told me that if you are really interested, Roosevelt, and my nickname, by the way, that my mother gave was Sonny, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But anyhow, she told me that when you really get serious, like Jamie Bell tonight when she introduced Scotty McFarland to become another member of the Hall of Fame. And Eric, you're coming too, so stand by, I'll get you. But the bottom line is that she told me that if you're really serious about becoming a radio broadcaster, and if you become a general manager, program director, or on air, what you want to do in the development of your radio broadcast format, regardless if it's urban, country, whatever, the bottom line is to develop your radio station and knowing your audience. Mary Mancini. Wow. Oh, Mary, I got that pitch in the DO, baby. You know, when we first went on the air at WJPZ radio. Okay, let me get back to Mrs. Dyson. Well, the question was, Mrs. Dyson said, you want to develop your radio station, your format, your station, into the sociological fabric of the audiences that you're serving. You want to develop as if they are a part of the family of the radio station. And you want to make that connection so great that when your listener, your radio family, is in trouble, they will call the radio station when they are in trouble before they call the police. And that is a real incredible thing that we got to get back to realizing the power of the great-great-great-grandmother of what we call social media today is radio broadcasting and live announcers in the studio leading the technology that we have today, which is absolutely incredible, is the way to go. 1929, Dean Kenneth Bartlett surfaced here at Syracuse University, creating a program that has created what we have tonight. He set up the radio workshop using the facilities of WSYR Radio and WFBL. The Syracuse Radio Workshop, one of the first in the United States of America. And then, of course, after World War II, the development of the FM radio band. In fact, we must give a shout out tonight to the late Major Edwin Armstrong, who created FM radio. In fact, he got so despondent after what they did to him, he committed suicide. And that is what Bob Saranoff, General Saranoff, and the others did when they moved the FM radio band from 435, 45 megahertz up to the 88.1 to 107.9, where it's located now. And of course, they made all of his stuff obsolete. And then of course, you got it, huh? Oh man, that easy, that quick? Wow. Boy, I tell you, we got to keep kicking. Bingo is already hit. Man, I try to make this thing tough tonight, man. Every year, I got to get a new speech here, real quick. Well, anyhow, the bottom line is that it created WAER radio, which became really the first low-powered FM non-commercial radio station in the United States of America. And then, of course, I can't say enough about Dr. Larry Myers tonight, who was chair of the radio TV program, and also my mentor, Dr. Donald P. Ely. Now, the WJPZ story. I came back to Syracuse in 1975 on the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications faculty. And I never forget the day. I'd only been here about a week. And a knock came at my door. My office was 381 Newhouse 2. And I'm new faculty on campus. I'd already been here a couple of years earlier as a doctoral fellow in instructional technology. Did a trip to Durham, Raleigh, North Carolina, on faculty at North Carolina Central. I heard that story and worked at stations there. Then I went to New Jersey and ran a radio station, WTNJ, and then Scotty McFarland. I worked in the same building you were in there at 4001 Nebraska Avenue, working in the radio division of NBC, WRC, WKYS. The late Jack Thayer was running things at NBC at that time. And then, of course, in New York City at WNBC was Howard Stern hadn't gotten yet, but Don Imus. And, of course, hey, Ron, you mentioned Wolfman Jack. Hey, baby, this is the Wolfman, XERF, Del Rio, Texas. Yeah, baby. 500,000 watts of power. Here's Don Covey and Sucky Sucky. All right, that was Wolfman Jack. Well, anyhow, the bottom line is I'm in my office, and tonight, as we celebrate this great family reunion, this knock is the greatest knock that I've ever received at Syracuse University, because that day knocking on my door was Bill Bliley and Craig Fox, who basically came to me that day and said, Professor, we have created a new radio station on the campus of Syracuse University, and that radio station is WJPZ. And I said, why WJPZ? And Craig said, hey, you heard of WABC, New York? We want to get called as to kind of sound the same way in a rhyme scheme. Well, I came over from the Newhouse School with Bill Bliley and Craig Fox in September of 1975. And in this exact latitudinal and longitudinal setup, Phil LoCascio, hey, Phil, it's really nice. I was also a naval officer, everybody, and I was a commanding officer of the Navy's Great Lakes Cruise. And I was cruising on the USS Stark, Navy FFG-31, the same ship that got hit by the Iraqis. And I lost a lot of shipmates that got killed on that ship. But in the great days of 1985, we cruised into Cleveland, Ohio. And I cruised into Cleveland, and as the public affairs officer, I had to work with all the radio and television stations. And guess who was standing on the dock of the port of Cleveland, Ohio? A WJPZer, Phil LoCascio. Dr. Phil, baby. Yes. Well, anyhow, I came over that day to the 3-story house that the Student Government Association, Spectrum Records, and everything was located. And that facility is right in the exact location where we are tonight. Just got to go down. And Bill Bliley, by the way, Bill Bliley is the 911 commissioner here in Onondaga County, WJPZer. And, of course, Craig Fox owns a bunch of stations and a lot of cash, so, you know, WJPZers are very successful financially, too. Well, anyway, I came down and looked at the station, which is in the basement that day. And, Greg, that was that RCA audio console. And there were 2 audio changers, Eric Fitch, our superstar. Hey, Eric, do you run Kiss 108, too? That's another company station, huh? Is BZ in your portfolio? And you got the Red Sox. Well, some guy just called and said the station's off the air, man. He told me to tell you that could you at least use that computer to get us back on the air in Boston. Some snow is in the insulators on the transmitter, on the tower or something over in Boston. Okay, you can get it straight, Eric. We'll get to Eric. Eric, great job, though, man. Mike Roberts, by the way, was here last year as an inductee in the Hall of Fame, doing those great days of the move, man, from this location. Johnny D was on the air, and Johnny was sightless. The key thing was he couldn't see. And the bottom line is that during that time, a number of students who were sightless were excited about radio. But I walked in that day, and there was Johnny on the air, and the young man had so much enthusiasm and love as he said WJPZ, which is at 1200 on the dial. And of course, I looked around and I said, my God, what's the problem? They said, well, Professor, the university's trying to get rid of us, and we need an advisor. We need somebody to be our advocate, somebody to sign the papers to make us an official group on this campus. I said, hey, God, where are the papers? So I signed them off, walked them over myself, and of course made WJPZ an official student organization here at Syracuse University. And from that point on, my God, I'm looking out tonight, and thank God we're in a radio guy, what can you expect? Definitely was going to do it, right, Dave Garab? You know, yeah, you're a radio cat, man. But anyhow, here we are tonight. We have put together the greatest on-campus radio training facility in the country. And you are continuing the great radio broadcast historical legacy that started here on this campus in 1929. And this is the year 2015. And this is a story that the university hasn't really told and looked at as historical legacy. And our radio alums are absolutely incredible. You look at the Dick Clark Studios across the street. Dick made his money in radio. Of course, American Bandstand was a radio show on television in Philadelphia, and first worked at WOLF radio here in this city. Well, I know you're ready to see the Duke basketball game, and I got a million stories to tell. Oh, the score. Oh, boy, I'm telling you. Oh, 40-58, huh?
There's only 8 minutes left.
8 minutes
so you might as well take us to the...
So I tell you what, I remember the days when I produced Duke basketball over WDNC, but I love SU and the SU Orange. Family, Dr. Rick Wright, still alive and well, love you so much. I will be turning 72 years old on the 24th of July of this year. And to all of you, I'd like to close it out by saying, you know what the deal is tomorrow. I'm on air from 1 until 7 at Power 620. Everybody knows the phone number, 421-9436. Let me hear from as many of you as I can. If you could get by the facility, come by. And this gives us a chance to show our great friends and great leaders at Our Heart Radio that live local radio is alive and well. And last Sunday, I had a whole studio full of folk from Boy Scouts to Otis Day, by the way, who was in the Animal House movie with John Belushi. Love you. Let's go watch Duke Syracuse. Come on, Syracuse, pull it out. Matt Friedman, Eric Fitch, Scotty McFarland, Hall of Famers. Hey, Stevie, talk is good for 3 more hours. Love you so much. And if I didn't call your name out, I had it on my list, but we got to watch Duke Syracuse.
Great. Dr. Roosevelt Rick Wright, Jr., ladies and gentlemen, please.
I forgot to pull the lucky. This baby, that's why I had it in my pocket. That's why we lose it.
If you don't love Dr. Rick Wright, you don't love America. So we have one last order of business, and of course everyone here is invited to the Nighttime is the Right Time after party at 815 Sumner Avenue, and we have ride to there and back, bail money, whatever you need. And so it's time to give out the 19th annual Rick Wright Block Scholarship. This is given out to that non-GM upperclassmen at the station that best exemplifies 3 criteria: achievement, a willingness to teach and advance the educational aspects of the station, and overall positive attitude. And we were told by those in the know that this was among the very most difficult decision yet to be made. The 3 candidates were former program director Joey Koska, former general manager Corey Crockett, former general manager Allie Gold. Only one of them can win the $1,000 Locke Scholarship Prize. Please join me in congratulating this year's winner, Mr. Corey Crockett.
Thank you so much, everybody. This is an incredible honor. I want to thank the Locke Award Committee and especially Allie and Joey, who have been at my right and left hand for the whole time. I wouldn't have been able to do anything without them. They've accomplished so much in their own right. Everyone here knows that this station is a team. It's not one person. And I just really quick want to remind everyone of a quote that I remember from my freshman year from Dion when he was elected into the Hall of Fame. And he said, "We make really great radio here, but this station is not about the radio. It's about the people." And that's all you guys. So thank you so much.
Corey Crockett, ladies and gentlemen. So that concludes the 30th annual WJPZ Alumni Banquet. Please, thank you so much for coming. We will see you all next year, hopefully. And it's been my honor to serve as your MC this evening. And so let's have some fun and have a good night. Thank you.